Blue Water Pool Service has a beautiful website, and it's optimized for Google. They've also correctly optimized their Google business profile, and they're getting great reviews. I can see from their website traffic they've been in business for over 4 years. However, this red line here is actually their traffic from 2022. And what I noticed pretty quickly was that their website traffic from Google has gone down every single year since. So if Blue Water Pools is optimized for Google and they're getting great reviews, why aren't they ranking? Well, that's exactly what they asked me to look into. They reached out to me after seeing one of the other audits I did on YouTube, and as I always do, I agreed. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why companies like this don't necessarily rank well in Google and what you have to do to get Google to notice you. Because as you'll see, that is the problem. Google's just not noticing them. If they did, they would see that they have a beautiful website. It's clean, it's professional. I typically would advise against a fancy font like this, but it's actually surprisingly readable. And not only is this providing a good user experience, which Google loves, but it's actually following most SEO best practices. They have their main search terms in their H1s. They're showing the areas they serve right below that. Their title tags are optimized. They're providing strong trust signals. They've also created a page for each of their services, which is really important when trying to rank for those services. So they have this page for their pool cleaning service, a page for their pool maintenance service, repair service, and commercial pool services. And Blue Water actually has 4 service areas, and they've correctly created one page for each of them, which are ranked in the footer. So here's the first tip I'm going to provide. If you're trying to rank a page in Google, link to it somewhere other than the footer. Google tends to devalue links in the footer, so you want these linked somewhere on the main navigation, the home page, or another important page of the website. But it is great that Blue Water has built pages for each of their service areas, and these actually look like home pages, which is something that most companies get wrong. Typically when people are trying to build a service area page or rank for a specific city name, they build these long articles that just say the city name over and over again. And that's bad for 2 reasons. One, it's not the kind of page Google is looking for if people are searching for services. Google's going to be looking for a transactional page, not an article. But more importantly, in my opinion, it's not what your users want. These service area pages are meant to be the landing page that someone from that service area is going to see first on your website. It is effectively the home page for people in that area. So it should be doing everything that your homepage does, which is exactly what Blue Water has done with their areas. They have this one for Austin, this one for Marietta, and this one for, wait, I keep seeing this Our Process section on all these pages. In fact, the closer I looked at their website, the more I realized they're using the same wording and same sections on a lot of different pages. So while they have the right pages on their website, they're not giving Google the information it needs to understand the company. Google is hungry for information about your business, so you want to give it as much as you possibly can. Now that doesn't mean making giant, dense blocks of text. No one likes that. But your website is the one place where you can completely control the content. And for a small business, Google is going to eat up all of it. So a little bit later, I'll show you some examples of competitors who are doing this better so you can see how that looks. However, website content probably isn't the biggest reason that Blue Water isn't ranking well in Google. So like I said before, Blue Water actually has 4 service areas, but they only have one Google business profile. Now, typically, if a business serves multiple different areas, they can have a Google business profile for each one. The challenge for Blue Water, unfortunately, is that they don't have an official physical address. This actually creates a few challenges. First, businesses without official addresses don't rank as well in Google Maps. Second, a lot of business directories don't even allow you to list your business without an address. And third, while Google does allow you to list your business without an address, they only allow you to list it for one service area. And this makes no sense to me. If you're allowed to have a service area business without an address, why wouldn't they want you to show up in all the areas you serve? But whatever, it's Google's world, we're just playing in it. But this is actually a huge handicap for Blue Water. So my advice here is to do whatever you can to get an address. The most common way businesses do this is by using the owner's home address. Now, you don't have to show this in Google, but other directories will require you to show it. But just having it in Google and then hiding it will actually improve your rankings there, at least for a proximity around your home. Now, if you can get an address in the other locations, then you can also have a Google business profile there. That's a little bit trickier because it has to be an official location of the business. And so while you could do it at an employee's home, you need to convince Google and maybe the employee that their home is an official location of the business. There's a few tricky things you can do to get around this, but the safest thing to do is just to get a virtual office that lets you use their address as your business address. So this is typically going to run you $200 to $300 a month per location, but it could potentially get you a lot more traffic from Google. I say potentially because having a Google business profile, as we're going to see, does not alone let you rank well in Google Maps. The factors for ranking well in Google Maps are all the factors for ranking well in normal search, plus your Google business profile. Now, Blue Water here has done a good job optimizing their profile. They have pool service in the title of their company, which is a big plus. Their primary category is pool cleaning service, which seems like the right primary category. We'll just dig into their profile settings a little bit more. You can see they also have swimming pool repair service as a secondary category. Now, if that's a more important keyword for them, they'll want to push that up to their main category. And then they have property maintenance, which is kind of a stretch, but I understand that they do pool maintenance, so I'll allow it. With additional categories, you want to add as many as possible, as long as they're actually accurate. Now, there's a few fields that they could fill out here, and they should. They should add an opening date. If they can answer text messages, they should add a chat feature. They have social profiles they could add, but really they've optimized the things that are going to significantly affect ranking. They've even added a bunch of services underneath their categories, which is a great way to rank for very specific terms. They could be adding posts here, but there's a lot of debate on whether or not that actually helps with rankings. I've never seen any evidence that it does. The biggest thing holding back this Google business profile from ranking are the reviews. Now, if you're a new business, it's very important that you get to 10 reviews. Something seems to trigger at 10 reviews and Google suddenly trusts your business. Now, Blue Water has done that. They have 17 reviews. But this profile has been live for about 2 years. 17 reviews isn't all that much. And that brings me to my main point about reviews. It's much less important how many reviews you have as it is the rate that you're currently getting reviews. Google doesn't care if you once got a bunch of reviews. If you're not getting reviews now, that's a red flag. So for Blue Water, they had 2 reviews 3 weeks ago, but before that, it was 17 weeks ago. So in the last 4 months, they've only received 2 reviews. So to Google, they're just not getting enough evidence that this is actually a company doing work on a regular basis. But your Google business profile is just one listing. There are thousands of directories out there. And while Google's probably ignoring most of those, there are a few that Google actually cares about. Now, unfortunately, because Blue Water doesn't have an address, my tool that checks for listings couldn't find any of them. The next best thing was just to search Google for their phone number. And as you can see here, there aren't many results. The truth is, there's just not much information about Blue Water online anywhere. And that's the main thing keeping Blue Water back from ranking in Google. Google just doesn't know you that well. So the key to ranking in search engines, and I think this will be even more important, ranking in AI, like ChatGPT or Google's AI mode, is just to be as noisy as possible. Now, I don't recommend submitting your business to thousands of directories, but you want to be in the biggest directories. You want to be in the listicles that Google's ranking. You want to be mentioned on all the websites that ChatGPT is referencing when people ask them about your service. But the easiest place to be noisy are places where you don't need permission, and that's social media. AI especially is crawling your social media pages. It is hungry for data, and it can get that from social media posts or videos. And videos right now are performing better than ever. It's why I'm doing this channel. And the algorithms are getting really good at showing the content you make to the kind of people who would be interested in it. Which is why I have dozens of people asking me to do audits when my videos typically only get 100 or 200 views. Which, by the way, if you would like me to do an audit of your business, I would be happy to. Please just click the link in the description or email me at tj@tjrobertson.com. And then I told you I'd show you some of those competitors' websites. They're doing a better job with content. Let's look at those. So this is a search for pool service from San Antonio. Sunray Pool is the top ranking website. I do love this video header. If you have any way of getting video onto your website, it is a great way to increase your conversion rating, but it's also going to improve user engagement, which could help with your Google ranking. And you can see here, they don't have big, dense blocks of text, but they do have a lot of sections on the page. You can just keep scrolling and get more and more information. They have their Google reviews right there. And if we go to their specific service pages, you can see there's a lot of information just about that service. It's not one paragraph about that service and then boilerplate content. It's detailed information spaced out so it looks nice with graphic elements in between, and then actual pictures from the business. Now, of course, Google doesn't know if these pictures are from your business, but they do know if they've been used on other websites. And Google is specifically looking for unique content. But also, most users probably do know that this isn't a stock image, and they will appreciate you sharing real images of you working. Everyone's worried about getting ripped off. The more of you can show, the more they'll trust you, which is why video is so useful. And let's look at one more example. This is the top ranking one from Austin. It's not the prettiest website, but it's easy to see why Google likes it. They're giving a lot of information about their services. Like Blue Water, they have a page about each one. Again, these pages aren't the prettiest. It's a lot of text next to text, but it's all specific information about this service. So I have another video about writing page content for your website, but the good news is you don't have to painstakingly type a bunch of words for every page. I'll walk you through my exact process to create pages that sound like they were written by you. Just click wherever you see a video.